Hi, it's Kanika, and I'm back with another season of That's Total Mom Sense, the podcast, where I interview parenting experts, global thought leaders, best-selling authors, and trailblazing entrepreneurs on their incredible life stories, their mom sense and dad sense experiences, and the values and legacy they're passing on to their children.
Hi, I'm Gabby Bernstein, and you're listening to me on That's Total Mom Sense.
It's me, Bobby Brown, on Total Mom Sense. Can't wait to share my story.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa, and you're listening to me on That's Total Mom Sense.
These episodes will inspire you to make every single day count. Episodes release every Thursday. Join my tribe by logging on to thatstotalmomsense.com, where you'll receive my free Parenting in a Pandemic guidebook, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen so you never miss an episode. As you all know, my passion is storytelling, and it's been the common denominator in my work in media. So it's no wonder that I look for stories wherever I go. Did you ever think that a piece of jewelry could tell a story? I am so pleased to announce my partnership with a demi-fine jewelry brand, Klas Squared. We have a very special surprise for you at the end. But for now, I want to shine a light on the founders of the brand, a mother-daughter duo, Lori and Kirsten Schmidtke, and share their story. Lori Schmidtke is the founder and lead designer of Klas Squared. With a career in fashion design spanning over 3 decades, Lori's creative brilliance is the passion behind the brand's design and aesthetic. Her artistic vision, combined with a focus on quality, is evident in the modern minimalism and clean composition of each piece. Lori designs and handcrafts Klas Squared's jewelry in her home studio in London, Canada. Designing for Klas Squared is all-consuming for her. Lori thrives on the process of sourcing materials based on color, shape, and texture, and finding new and modern ways to create jewelry for the everyday, powerful woman. She says, I see everything through a lens: color, shape, composition. Whether it's admiring nature, fashion, contemporary art, or travel, I'm always envisioning it as a piece of jewelry. Kirsten Schmidtke leads the business, branding, and content strategy for Klas Squared. With a successful background in business and creativity in her DNA, she was motivated to join forces with Lori for an opportunity to make a mark and leave an impact. She is drawn to the color, detail, and composition of fashion, falling in love with its ability to transform your mood, your energy, and your confidence. Kirsten's talent is in the art of styling, curating a look, and creating a brand aesthetic, which led her to the center of Klas Squared's campaigns, modeling its newest designs. Although much of her time is spent analyzing numbers, driving business strategy, and writing copy, her love for the creative process is equally as important and fulfilling. She says, I don't get to make all the decisions at work, but I do get to decide what I wear. I believe fashion has the ability to transform your energy, and accessories have the power to take it a step further, to express your personality, your beliefs, and what you stand for. Lori and Kirsten, welcome to That's Total Mom Sense.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Tell us what it was like for you both growing up.
I grew up in a very, very, very small town in northwestern Ontario on beautiful Lake of the Woods, which is actually right across bordering on Minnesota. It's a beautiful tourist area where our family still cottages together every year. But as a typical teenager, I couldn't wait to get to the big city and follow my dreams. And it's kind of funny that often it's been nature and the lake that still influences my creativity.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what about you, Kirsten?
I grew up in, a city, a small city, but bigger than the place my mom grew up, and a little bit further east. So we're actually in the house that I grew up in London, Ontario, which is also where our studio for Klas Squared is. We were 2 hours from Toronto, which is the biggest city in Canada, as well as 2 hours from the US border. So I had a lot of opportunity to pursue different passions and interests, with whether that was in the arts or that was sports or whatever it might be. And also a lot of opportunity to travel starting at a young age. So I think that that's definitely influenced my career path as well as my creativity, and absolutely where we draw inspiration from for Klas Squared.
Tell us about your family dynamic. What's it like between you both? And then, of course, your husband and dad and siblings.
It's a pretty tight-knit group. In our immediate family, it's my parents and my brother and I. My brother and I are just less than 2 years apart. We've grown up close in age, but we've also had a lot of the same interests, kind of really crossing, like I said, arts, culture, as well as sports and travel, like very, very diverse, but very much similar interests that way. And as a result of being raised by our parents, we have similar values. So it's definitely created, we have a very close-knit family. And that has been really, really, I think, critical too during this time that we've had each other to support and lean on.
And Lori, what was it like when Kirsten decided to join you in the business?
Oh, it was major change. I would say at first it was kind of overwhelming. Like there's just so much more one can do with two people, and there's 10 times more ideas. I love it much more. I still get to be creative and do all the things I'm doing, but now I'm sharing with somebody. So it just feeds.
Oh, that's so great. And then do you feel like you were able to scale with both of you kind of at the helm together?
Definitely that's the idea, because I think by myself, I was to that point where I couldn't. Like there's only so much a person can do. And then again, too, with technology, all that kind of stuff, bringing that all in at a different level, definitely that makes a big difference. Yeah.
The piece where I probably influenced the most or really brought when we started was starting to make Klas Squared more of a digital brand or digital first, right? Yeah. So getting better photography with styled shots and on models and on different people versus just on forms. Like that's kind of where we started. I really felt that we needed to have a better online presence. Now, this is about 5-6 years ago. Obviously, that's only continuing to grow in the world of e-commerce. But that's really where we started was how do we style the jewelry? How do we do fashion shoots and, photo shoots, and get the photography out there and on social and get a website up and running and all of these things that previous to that, Mom didn't. A lot of stuff I didn't exist really. Well, yeah. And most of what I did before, like I've been in business over 30 years, none of that existed. So it was all face to face, right?
Yes.
So I could be creative and then I would sell. All those other layers did not even exist.
And you have such a special, strong bond as, a mother and daughter. Can you describe it for us?
It is special. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way our personalities are very opposite, very different. So maybe it's because of that one can be the way they are and be just accepted as that's how they are. Another person can be, I don't know. I don't know how it works that one's encouraging the other person all the time. And so it just kind of we feed on each other. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. It's not like we spend a lot of time together now, but there's been times when Kirsten's lived far away and we didn't see each other all the time. So it's not just because we've been in each other's back pocket. It's
I think for me, my mom's just always been there. As long as I can remember, my mom's always been dependable, encouraging, supportive, whether I was 12 or 22 or whatever. Right. And so I think over time, even if I live far away, whatever, I've always been in communication and contact. And I think that the foundation we were saying is built really on trust. Like we really, really trust each other. And I think that's one thing that makes our relationship really unique and special, that we can trust each other with the personal life stuff. But then even when it comes to the job and the business aspect, we might be hesitant to share an idea or what we're really thinking. But at the end of the day, we know that the other person is not going to judge us or not going to not be supportive or listen, because we've got this relationship that we've built over all of these years. Obviously, that really keeps us connected and really, really close. Is just that real honest sense of trust in each other, and knowing the other person is going to be there. And then as we have worked together, that naturally has led to spending more time together. And you kind of also end up in this really lovely flow of energy and almost like finishing each other's sentences. Like we've kind of gotten to that point now too, where it's like, oh, you don't even have to say what you're thinking, because I already know what it is. So that's kind of a cool evolution of our relationship that I believe is a result of doing Klas Squared, really, because we're spending, a different kind of time together. But it is still a work in progress to, draw the line between family time and work time. That one's definitely tough, because as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you experience the same thing. Your brain is just always on. So
I remember, through many of our conversations, you mentioned how growing up, your mom was so fashionable and so stylish that your friends would tell you that they would want to hang out with her, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a friend, like family friend, like we've known pretty much my entire life. And yeah, recently she was like, yeah, your mom was always the cool mom. Like she had a cool job and she like made clothes. And like, my mom's first business was in children's clothes, right? So a lot of my friends growing up were wearing clothes that my mom designed and made. She'd have different swatches, like basically everything was custom done. So you got to pick out the color, the fabric, the design, and, she made it. So looking back is really, really cool. But it's so interesting because when you're growing up, your mom's your mom.
Right.
Right. Your mom's always your mom first. I now know that my style and, everything I experiment with fashion is absolutely influenced by her. And I think it comes back to kind of that supportive, like being yourself, being unique, standing out. Yeah. It is all like, that's what fashion is about. And that's also like being yourself in life is like, what being yourself is about. Being authentic is standing out as you are as an individual. But I definitely don't think I really kind of brought that all together until I started working with her on Klas Squared.
And how did you come up with the name?
Klas Squared, I wanted something that exuded class. Okay, that was sort of my vision for the brand. It was going to be classy. I'm married to a math teacher, high school math teacher. So I'm thinking classy. So class to the power of 2. So that's where Klas Squared comes from. But then again, the Germanic background, I used the letter K instead of the letter C. So that was Klas Squared. So I was trying to think ahead that if I ever wanted to do interior design or I wanted to create something else again, I would never have to come up with another name. I would have something. But as I worked with Kirsten, Klas Squared came to represent more. It's now like the power of the 2 of us and how 2 women working together, no matter what they're doing or the situation, they're stronger than 2 individual women and they can do more. And as Kirsten's quote goes, you have the exponential potential to do whatever.
Now tell us a little bit about the inner workings of the business, because it's so interesting to really unpack. What is the process from taking it from a sketch to the actual product that you see?
First of all, there's a whole bunch of research, imagining, creative things and discussions that we go through to come up with a concept, sort of a theme. Then we work on a visual. We consider different shapes, colors, finishes, and materials to create an aesthetic or a look that we're going to work with. We like to play with the actual shapes and pieces before we finish because the sketch is a flat idea and we want to make sure 3D that it's going to work all together. And we were discussing earlier that once we start putting things together to try them out, I always say we're test driving the jewelry to make sure, it's comfortable. Some pieces drape, some stones or whatever are uncomfortable. So you kind of got to make sure that that's all going to work before you would ever produce it. Then we take our wish list to our suppliers who then look for or source the pieces that we're looking for. And of course, this can be all over the world, especially when some pieces are gemstones, because gemstones come from everywhere. Then we work on smaller batches, especially working with gemstones. We like to give the feel of the one of a kind because each gemstone is going to be unique. We want people to feel like they're getting something special. And then as far as the sales part, we used to do a lot of women's events, pop-ups and things like that. But since COVID, we're really working on our online store. That's where our emphasis is.
This is the team, right? Just the 2 of us out of our studio here in London, Ontario. And so my mom is actually hand making every piece that Klas Squared creates too. So we are definitely working together and collaborating on the design and kind of the influence and themes and ideas, or bridging different generations, which is really, really cool. We're looking for the meaning in some of the gemstones and the qualities that they have so that we really feel that our wearer of the jewelry is kind of taking on that energy when stepping out into their day. But when it does come to creating the pieces, my mom's actually doing them all by hand. So there's absolutely a little bit of love in every piece that we send out. And in that process too, we do really value the quality of the pieces that we work with, the quality of the craftsmanship. And we want to ensure that these are timeless pieces, right? These are pieces that you can, maybe gift or share or pass down. But, more importantly, always kind of top of mind is that our jewelry can take you throughout your entire day, no matter what life throws at you, right? The Klas Squared woman is very similar to yourself, right? Balancing career and kids, trying to prioritize self-care and so many different things, and get out for, date night once in a while. So we really want our jewelry to be able to take you throughout that. So whether it's, dressing down for, a workout class, or like I said, picking up the kids, or you're getting ready for work, or maybe, like I said, later on, a date night, we want our pieces to, what we say, work for work, day, and play.
And what would you say sets Klas Squared apart from its competitors, especially the big retailers?
So as Kirsten just said, everything is handmade. And in smaller batches, you're not going to see yourself everywhere. There's more intention put into every piece.
Now let's delve into the collections. Tell us about the different pieces you have.
I would say our jewelry collections kind of fall into two categories. So we have what I consider kind of our basics, our foundation, our silver, our gold pieces, which we call our shine collection. And they're the ones that are really kind of the foundation of your jewelry box, right? Like our gold sphere shine earrings, our silver necklaces, give or take, they both go both ways, gold necklaces, silver earrings. And we find that our customers really love the fact that they will go with pieces that already exist in their wardrobe or in their jewelry box, but they can also stack more, Klas Squared pieces together with some of those elements, where we talked about a little bit about like more of our small batch and limited edition pieces. So those tend to be different color pearls when we just have a limited quantity and availability as we release different color pearls, or with the gemstones as well, as those are all going to be unique as they're natural and in their natural state. So once we've collected the elements we're going to work with, we can't always guarantee we can get the exact same cut and the exact same size and the exact same kind of color. So those we are more in kind of our limited edition sets. And we definitely really think through kind of what the meaning is behind those gemstones when we're kind of telling a story about the piece, so that in kind of wearing our jewelry, and even if you're wearing pieces that aren't, with gemstones, we still want you to feel that the jewelry gives you just kind of that elevation in your look, in your mood, in your confidence. And so you're feeling really good about yourself stepping out into the day, or whether you see it as a talisman or, a piece of armor to kind of, get the job done, whatever works for you. In light of talking about the power of two, we always talk about jewelry sometimes as our power pieces, right? Really helping us to feel powerful in who we are and stepping out into our day.
And can you share some of the price points with the jewelry?
Earrings start in about the $50 range, depending again, kind of on the materials. And then our bracelets will range from about $125 to $150 range. Mm-hmm. And then our necklaces are, $125, $150 and up. It all definitely varies on the pieces and the elements and the time and energy that goes into each piece. But that's kind of an average of the collections.
I would love to hear about just some lessons that both of you have learned as mother, as daughter during this time.
The one thing that I found hard about starting my business and being at home and all that was the fact that I loved being my own boss and running my own business and being creative and all that. But being a solopreneur that long ago, you were all alone. Mm-hmm. It meant you worked alone. You had nobody to share things with, had nobody to ask things of. The people that you talked to about your business outside of your home were clients. You only got so much information from them. Now there is so much networking and groups to belong to. And I think it's absolutely wonderful. It really made me reflect on the fact that I was kind of unique in my day, that I did that. It's changed so much.
And I think during the last couple of years too, we've been really fortunate that we've actually spent more time together rather than less, being only 2 hours apart in terms of where we live and everyone staying healthy within our family, that we were fortunate to spend more time working together face to face, which is actually unique, which maybe might surprise people.
Yeah.
But since we do live in different locations, we definitely spent a lot of time, doing kind of like a weekend, like intense, like work session. And then, in a few, maybe once a month or something like that. But then during the last couple of years, I've spent a lot more time here. And as a result, we've actually been able to talk more about the brand, what we want to do long term, coming up with new ideas on collaborating. Here we are, like, the conversations we'd be having, the people we can be meeting, the lives we can, hopefully influence with our designs and with our style. And it's definitely allowed us to kind of move faster and really invigorate some excitement around the brand, which I think was really important in a time where, things slowed down for a bit. I mean, we've all been very kind of unsure of what's happening in the world, but really, I think it's really helped us to, I guess, strengthen our commitment to the brand and to working together.
And what advice do you have to really establish this strong and unwavering bond that you both share for other families to kind of emulate?
Doesn't matter how old or how young your children are, take the time to listen and really listen. They may try to be telling you something that you don't know and they don't know how to say. Remember, they're listening to you. Mm-hmm. You won't realize the things that will come back to you that you didn't even know that they noticed.
It's really interesting how kind of, I guess I'm reflecting more kind of generations influencing generations, like my mom's mom. So my grandmother, a lot of this almost kind of starts with her too. And I'm just thinking, it's amazing growing up, like you just really gravitate towards those things that your family is interested in without really even being aware of it. Like my grandmother, she sewed. She made a lot of my mom's clothes growing up. That's what got my mom into sewing and designing her own clothes in high school, which is crazy. When I was growing up, my grandmother her sewing journey had evolved into quilting. So, spending time with her in the sewing room quilting and looking at fabrics and starting to put together colors and aesthetic. And who would have thought that comes all the way to like styling a fashion shoot and all these things. So I think it's really interesting to kind of reflect on those little bits of wisdom and experience and opportunity that you get when you spend time with your family members that really influence you in the long run, in the long term. Like I'm very fortunate that our family's close, very supportive of one another. And I've just had really two very creative and when it comes to composition and color and aesthetic, like genius women who have really taught me a lot about what it means to be creative, but also to bring that vision to life.
Now I'd like to share our special surprise. And that is that Klas Squared and I collaborated to bring you the onyx necklace. And I'm wearing it right now. I wear it every day. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah, we're so excited. Like, this is so fun. You represent who the Klas Squared woman is, right? You are a thought leader. You're a businesswoman. You're a daughter and a mother, right? And you understand the challenges that go throughout your day in balancing all the responsibilities, all the things. So we really wanted to create a piece that helped to align all those things and help women to go out into their day knowing everything was going to be okay and they could handle, all these multiple responsibilities with grace, which is exactly what you do. And you share all your tips and tricks on this podcast, especially on how you do that. This piece in particular, we decided together to design with onyx. And mostly because of the quality of onyx, right? This piece is designed to help to create a sense of calm and reassurance. Onyx is known to create a better flow of positive energy. So that'll lead you to feeling more vibrant, more energetic. It helps to remove negative perceptions. So you can really step into the woman that you want to be. So we think that on the most demanding days, this is the piece you want to be wearing, as it's a reminder that everything will be okay.
Now, tell us about a mom sense moment you've had.
Yeah, there's like two specific things I remember that if my mom hadn't given me the extra boost, knowing what was best for me in that moment, I would have missed out on two big opportunities. And one was at the age of 10, I had the chance to participate in a children's global organization where I got to actually travel to Greece for a month to meet kids from around the world. And yeah, so that was one. I was like, no, I don't want to go and like kind of participate too. And I was like, no, you're going to go. Off I went, and it was wonderful. And I had a good time. And I'd say the second was, so after high school, I grew up dancing. I was very passionate about dance. I wanted to go full force into dance. Hadn't decided if that meant university or not, but I had the opportunity to audition for a group that traveled and taught and performed and things. And once we got to the workshop, I was like, at this point I'd done a number of exams and competitions and all sorts of things, but I was nervous. I didn't know a person that was there because we had actually gone to the US to do this. So I didn't know anyone, but sure enough, like all I needed was the extra support from my mom to remind me why we were there and what was important to me. And I think definitely in those two cases, like it was a really big commitment from my mom as well to support me in those, but she knew something deep down inside that was what I needed. Because then I ended up then I ended up performing for a couple of years before I did go back to university and graduate from school. So yeah, those would be that's what I recall as being kind of two moments that if I hadn't had her kind of checking in, I wouldn't have had those opportunities.
Let's not forget our quote of the day. So is there a quote that you live by? It's hard to pinpoint one, but
it is really hard to pinpoint one, but something that keeps coming up is this idea of just family first. I think it's always been there. It just seems more important and more present for us than ever before.
Yeah.
And prioritizing our family relationships, our family interactions, our family time. Life is too short too.
Extended family.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not just four of us, but definitely, whether it's grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever it is, we definitely wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for our family being very encouraging and very supportive. Living by that, but also remembering that when we're in the business, I think is also important. As like I said, it's a work in progress to kind of, draw a line between work and family time. But I think more than ever before, it's just so important that we really are dedicating that time to like spending with the people that we care about and taking a break and creating boundaries around work. So we are there for our family, for people that are most important to us.
It's now time for Mom Haul, when we share products we love. So is there a product that you're loving? And it doesn't have to be just for moms. It can be beauty, wellness, anything.
Yeah. Yeah. The first thing I think of is actually my birthday present that my bought for me, which is a diffuser from a brand called Vitruvi. They are also Canadian founded, family founded, so female founder, but brother-sister duo too, which I love that there's a family story there too. Big fan of really getting back to kind of natural elements in the home too, right? So having the diffuser over any kind of, other manufactured scents or right. So that is, there's so many different scents that can help you depending on the kind of energy that you're trying to channel, or if you're trying to calm down or whatever it might be. So, or different essential oils, right, can really help you throughout your day too. And we're spending lots of time at home. So that's the product I go to.
And where can my listeners find you and Klas Squared?
So you can find us at klassquared.com. So remember, Klas is spelled with a K. And you can find all of our beautiful designs there ready to shop, and on social media. So really simple, at Klas Squared. You'll find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, you name it. We've got the same handle. So that makes it really easy to remember. And we would love to meet you and connect with you and support one another there.
How sweet are Lori and Kirsten? Thank you so much for taking the time out, ladies. You both are such a delight, and I love the bond you share. And I think it's one that we can all emulate, especially for moms who have daughters. And I wanted to share with all of my listeners today that Klas Squared has created my very own promo for the necklace that we designed together. And it's Mom Sense 15 for 15% off. And it's one use per customer only, and it expires December 31st of 2021. So as you're doing your holiday shopping, definitely take advantage of this deal, because you can really just brighten someone's day with the onyx necklace, and you get it for a little percentage off too. So it's great. If you love the episode, please rate, review, and if you haven't already, subscribe to That's Total Mom Sense wherever you listen to podcasts. If you have suggestions for show topics or want to pitch yourself to be on the show, I would love to hear from you. You can write to me at thatstotalmomsense@gmail.com. Remember, always trust your mom sense and dad sense. Stay strong, super parents. See you next time.
That's Total Mom Sense.